What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to Bananas Epic Gaming, and today we are filming another episode of CageTalk, and we are going to be ranking a horror movie franchise that has a little bit of controversy, and that is the Jeepers Creepers series. I'm not going to get into the controversy that's behind this movie. If you want to know more, Google Jeepers Creepers or Google Victor Salva, the director. And there's only 3 movies in this franchise, so I'm going to rank them from the worst to the best. Please be sure to like and subscribe, and here we go. And coming in third place is going to be Jeepers Creepers Part 3. The third installment of the Jeepers Creepers series, and I'll tell you why right now. Now, when this movie was announced to come out in 2013, I was excited. Not because I think this is a great franchise, but I'm not going to go into stuff about Victor Salva. But I liked The Creeper. I liked the first movie. When I first saw him when I was a little kid, I was scared. Kind of. Second movie was okay. Not the best. And when I found out it was coming out in 2013, I was like, okay, let's see if the wait is worth it. Didn't come out in 2013. 4 years later, 2017, they got a one-night release in theaters. I kid you not, I went to that premiere. Theater was packed. 5-10 minutes into the movie, it was me and another 10 people in that theater. At least 200 people got up and left because it was that bad. This movie had a lackluster ending because Jeepers Creepers 3 takes place in between Part 1 and Part 2, and it is not needed. It gives us a little bit of backstory, kind of. We don't know anything about the Creeper, but the characters do. We know what happens before this movie and what happens at the end of this movie already, because at the end of the movie, one of the main characters, Buddy, gets on the bus for Jeepers Creepers 2. The no good characters. The story was basically Addison and Buddy, who are basic and boring, and really crappy CGI. When they're saying something in 2017, when your movie that came out, I believe in 2003, Jeepers Creepers 2, had better CGI, and you have the ability to have amazing CGI now. Now, some of the positive things: most of the movie takes place during the day, which is not a bad thing because the Creeper, who is an unstoppable killer, doesn't sneak around. He will just fly and hunt you until he gets what he wants. And there's a couple of good kills. I'm talking about the dirt bike gang. One of them gets yanked in the air after he pisses on the Creeper's car. 2 of them get speared together. One of their friends gets speared through the head. And the other one is off screen. We see his body falling to the ground. This movie's big fight scene is some townspeople getting ready to go after the Creeper. Spoiler, they all die, but the cop. The cop gets away. But the Creeper has his axe from the first movie, and he also has the van. The van is known as the Batmobile from Hell because it can do a lot of crazy stuff. The kill count of this movie is 11, and I believe that is the highest kill count for Jeepers Creepers, not including the mannequins from the dozens of people they killed in the past we found in Part 1. Because if we count those, Part 2 tells us there's over 300 bodies down there in the church. But on-screen kill-wise, 11 people died in Jeepers Creepers 3. And that is the most of the franchise. And that is why Jeepers Creepers 3 is number 3 on my ranking. It doesn't feel needed. It felt like they were setting up for Jeepers Creepers 4, but because this movie did so poorly at the box office and people were irritated about this movie, we're not going to get Jeepers Creepers 4. Now on to the next Creeper movie. Coming up next on my list is going to be Jeepers Creepers Part 2. I'll tell you why Jeepers Creepers Part 2 is number 2 right now. Okay, so Jeepers Creepers 2. This movie came out in 2003, but it is set on the last day of the 23rd spring cycle. This movie sees a father who wants to get revenge on the Creeper because the Creeper took his youngest son in the opening of the movie. Also, the Creeper is going up against a bunch of basketball players with their coaches and 3 cheerleaders. And this movie takes place on a bus. Oh, and you got the bus driver too. The bus driver and the 2 coaches are the first 3 people to go from the bus. And you have a cheerleader who was never psychic or never got told she was psychic or hinted that she was psychic throughout the movie, became psychic on the bus because they needed to get a Justin Long cameo in to warn them about the Creeper. And the Creeper has a couple throwing stars in this and this magical knife in this. But he doesn't have the car, he doesn't have the axe, he doesn't have anything that made him kick ass in the first movie. He reminded me and a lot of my friends that have seen this movie and that watched this movie with me of the comical Freddy Krueger. He tried so hard to make him comical. Jeepers Creepers, we find out in the barn he had like 600 bodies down there. In this movie, we get a good count of how many bodies are in that barn. It is like 300 bodies when they were tallying them up and they announced it on the radio. This movie takes place in 2001, and the ending, I'll get to that in a little bit. There are 7 deaths in this movie. If you count the barn, there are a lot more than 7, but if you're not counting the barn and just the people that had died in this movie, there are 7. The Creeper, at the end of the movie, he goes into a deep sleep because it's struck midnight and the 23 days are up. And the last scene of the movie takes place in 2024, and the father, who wanted to get revenge for the son that was taken away, said that he's waiting for 3 days. Give it about to take a day or 2, because he knows the Creeper is coming and he's ready. And we think we're gonna get that in Jeepers Creepers 3, but as you can tell, we did not. This movie, storyline wise, is the last one, because it goes 1 through 2. If Jeepers Creepers 3 would have given a little bit of backstory, then would have went on to be the sequel to Jeepers Creepers 2, and Jeepers Creepers 2 would be my least favorite. And it didn't have the comical stunts that Jeepers Creepers 3 had. Jeepers Creepers 2 is a bad movie in itself, but it is a decently funny bad movie. You have a scene where the wing decapitates a kid. You have the Creepers picking everybody out one by one who he wants to take. And we get to the last person he looks at and he's shaking. His eyes are on the back of his head. He's like, Yeah. You have to see the scene to know what I mean. Jeepers Creepers 2 is not my favorite horror movie, but it's not my least favorite horror movie. If you want to watch it, I would say watch it, but other than that, stay away. Now on to the obvious number 1 choice of this countdown. And coming in at number 1, you guessed it, it is going to be the first Jeepers Creepers movie. I'll tell you why Jeepers Creepers 1 is the best one in my mind right now. There's not that much to talk about from the original Jeepers Creepers, but when I first saw this movie, it was at home. I was waiting for some thing on pay-per-view with my brother and my sister. My sister wanted to order this. She wanted to see it. She still lived at home at the time, and we ordered it, and I watched it, and I was terrified. I was a little kid, and I saw this. I remember the creeper when he killed the old lady. He just smiled, and that kind of freaked me out, but not really. But in this movie, you have a brother and a sister driving home from spring break who encounter a flesh-eating creature in an isolated countryside that is on its last day of its realistic eating spree. 6 people die in this movie. You have the brother and sister being played by Justin Long and Gina Phillips. Justin Long was amazing in this movie. He came back for the second, and Gina Phillips came back for the third, because the third movie is going to take us into the fourth movie, if there ever is a fourth movie. This movie had a $10 million budget, and it brought in $59.2 million at the box office. So that's pretty good. I personally like this movie. It's not my favorite horror movie, but it's in my top 50. Like around 45 range. Do I recommend this movie? Yes, I do. Should you go see it? Yes, if you want to. And that is going to be it. I want to thank you guys for liking the video. Please be sure to like and subscribe. Tap the little bell on the YouTube app so you guys never miss an upload. And we'll see you guys at the next one. Peace.